I have some stories here I'd like to share with you. It's related to Valentine's Day and the whole season of affection and love and expressing yourself. And we have so many wonderful people from our celebrations community who share their stories, especially when they see stories that tickle them or ignite an idea in them through our Celebrations Pulse, our Sunday weekly newsletter, that I'm so happy and thrilled that so many people choose to write in and share their stories with us. As we lean into the season of love here, I have a story here from Michelle. She said a good friend of hers had lost her husband suddenly just before Valentine's Day. And what she did was she surprised her friend. She went out and got a small gift, and she just went by her home and stopped and visited with her. And she said for a while they just sat there and didn't have much to say to one another. But what she realized then was, A, she could express herself to a friend that her friends would be there for her. And B, she taught us a lesson that it's not about the words you say, it's about the small gestures you make, the thoughtful things you say and do, and about being present for someone who's experiencing grief. It's simply about presence. And so many times we're struggling in those emotional situations to figure out the right thing to say or the perfect gift to send or bring. Just act. Act on your thoughtfulness, be present for your friends, and they'll be present for you. You know, I think I've seen so many times now in my own life and in the sharings of our people from the celebrations community that it's those little gestures that mean so much. It's the thoughtful text, it's the email, it's the call, it's the message you leave on their phone. Sometimes, if it's appropriate, a gift. But those little gestures mean so much to invest in our relationships, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. The relationships we enjoy, the relationships we're a part of, because they're our fuel. I have a story here shared with us by a member of our community, Lynette. And Lynette works in HR at our company. And last year she created a program called Show the Love at Work. And so for Valentine's Day, for that whole week, what she asked everyone to do is simply write a note to other team members it has, other employees of the company, notes of encouragement and appreciation for one another. Something someone did that you put a smile on your face, or something that someone did that just changed the outcome, or just made someone else's day, or just did something thoughtful for someone else. Notice those gestures and put them into a little note. And she and her team delivered those notes to all the people and all the desks in their office place. And she said it was just, each one had a little candy gift attached to it, a little box of chocolates. And she said it just created such a buzz for that week around Valentine's Day in their office that she decided to do it again this year. But this year she's created some real mailboxes so people can put them in, people can see other people going and putting them in. They're going to do the distribution afterwards. And she said because people are asking, I hope we're going to do that again this year. What lessons that she tells me she's learned from that experience is that culture isn't built in boardrooms. It's built in moments like this. I think she's spot on correct, Lynette. I think that's a great thing you do. It reminds me, we created a program here at the 1-800-Flowers companies called Cultural Kudos. It was a lady who worked here a couple of decades ago now, I would think, who suggested it, where anyone in a company can nominate someone for a kudo. Living the culture is what we call it. So evidencing the culture is another way of putting it. So they find something, they see someone do something really good and it's good for the company and our culture, just write a cultural kudo. And we spell culture with a K instead of a C, so it's ownable. But I'm thrilled when I walk through any of our workplaces around the country and I see that people have the hard copy of that cultural kudo pinned up in their workplace or hanging in their office. It just tells me that people appreciate being appreciated. And of course it has a shaping of behavior outcome as well. So find a way to make it your own, make it interesting, and make it fun. And you know what? Some things are really corny, but corny really works in the workplace. It's good for your culture, people can laugh about it, put a smile on their face. We had a fellow, Vinny, who worked in our company, retired last year, but he's here for every bit of 30 years, probably quite a bit more. And I remember when he was running one of our service center operations, people would call in, and the people would be working with a headset at a terminal. And he was walking around one day, and he had a roll on a roll of little smiley faces. And every time he walked past somebody and they were on a call and they were smiling, he goes, "We can hear smiles." He'd go and put a little smiley sticker on the edge of their computer screen. And he didn't say anything to anyone about why, but people are watching him, and what's he doing? What's that about? And it went on all day, and he never broke silence on why he was doing it, but people began to figure it out. Whenever he saw somebody smiling, he knew he was having a positive impact on a customer of ours on the other end of that phone. And he put a little, at the end of the day now, some people had dozens of smiley stickers around their screens. But not surprisingly, those were the best score days for the company. That is, best sales rate, best customer service rankings, best outcomes of improving issues that went wrong. It just put everybody in a good mood and reminded them that work should be fun, it should be meaningful, and you should be part of a team. So find a way in your shop, or in your household, or in your community, or among your group of friends to do something corny and fun that just recognizes people, expresses appreciation. I have a note here from one of our community members at Celebrations here. Her name is Kim, and she works at a pediatric cardiology unit. It's not a place that any parent or any child wants to be, but sometimes has to. And what they did one year, Kim organized a group of people, and they decorated the place, the whole waiting room and all the patient rooms, with a combination of teddy bears and Valentine heart decorations. And the point was, it changed the atmosphere that week in that cardiology center, in that pediatric cardiology center. Again, a place that's not filled with cheer, but it said that your heart may be broken, but we all have the capacity to love and to appreciate one another. And human needs can be addressed long before those physical needs can be. And don't you think those emotional touch points help the physical ones too? I sure do. You know, one of the things I was surprised to hear the other day here in our shop at 1-800-Flowers is that nearly half of the gifts that we deliver now for Valentine's Day, the millions of gifts that we deliver, nearly half of them aren't for what you would expect to be a traditional romance situation, a dating couple or a married couple. Everyone assumes that that's what Valentine's Day isn't, but nearly half of all the gifts that we deliver for Valentine's Day are to your kids, to your grandmom, to a friend, to a sister, not the traditional romance kinds of expressions. And I think that's a really positive and good trend, that people use that whole Valentine's week now as an excuse to express themselves and to change how somebody else feels and put a smile on somebody else's face, whether it's an aunt that you don't see as often as you'd like to, or someone that you long ago had a relationship with, a good friendship, and it's waned a little bit. You tell them, I'm thinking about you, and let's make it a point to connect again soon. And here's some times. Expression of appreciation, of love of all different kinds. This time of year is we have the excuse that we needed to go and act. Act on your thoughtfulness. I have a note here from a customer, Barbara. She says, my wife and I have been together for 20 years before we got married. After years of stability, her aortic aneurysm suddenly worsened. She was hospitalized, required emergency open heart surgery. She's home now, recovering, and this Valentine's Day feels different. Not because of gifts, but because we're still here and we're still together. I think having a situation like that reveals to each of us the importance of relationships, and the most important and deep relationships, especially when times and future are uncertain. So don't wait for uncertainty to express yourself, but when you are confronted with it, and it does cause into questions how long things will go on and what can change, what can go wrong, invest in the relationships that you have. Look to develop relationships that you think would be good and healthy for you, and be deliberate about being conscious of the fact that things aren't forever, and let that vulnerability of uncertainty creep in, because it gives you a different insight into the value of each of your relationships. So before I was a florist, how did I celebrate Valentine's Day? Well, I'm working at St. John's Home for Boys. Mary Lou and I were dating, and I lived in Queens, she lived in Manhattan, so I would take the bus up to the subway, and I'd go downstairs to the E to F train, go into Manhattan, we're going to go out for dinner. But I always stopped at the same flower shop in that train station, at the mezzanine level. There was a big flower shop there, and my friend and his family owned that shop. And I'd stop there all the time and have him make up a bouquet for me. Years later, that friend of mine's father called me and said, we're going to be selling the flower shop. Might you have an interest in it? I had just bought the one shop in Manhattan, so I said, yeah, I think that'd be great. And we operated that shop for years. It was a cash and carry shop. It was throngs of people coming through that subway because it was an intersection where the bus lines and the train lines crossed, so there was a mess of people. But we loved working in that shop. It was tough. It was cold. It was hot. It wasn't properly air conditioned or heated, but it was a fun place to work because of the action. And at Valentine's Day, it was just crazy town. It was great fun. I have some real fun memories of working in that shop. For many years, we had that. So our first Valentine's Day as a florist, so I bought our first shop on April 1st, so it would have been the next February of 1977. And I'm not quite sure what to expect with Valentine's Day, but we thought we were ready, we thought we had enough product, and boy, we were just overwhelmed. There was a line to get into our store, and then there was hardly any room to move. We were trying to get the deliveries out and take care of the customers who were there. It was not a pretty scene, but each year we learned to handle more and more and be better prepared. And the good news is it worked. We continue to grow our volume and sales on Valentine's Day. And as I've mentioned, the fact that Valentine's Day is shifted, or Valentine's week or weekend, and this year it's on a weekend, the fact that it's shifted from not just being, I have a sweetheart and I want to get them a bouquet or a dozen roses, it's become a time to express affection for your children, for your grandchildren, for your spouse, for your friends. Do fun things in the office, like bring a little bud vase in for each person in the office, get some Cheryl's heart-shaped cookies, put them around. I think people are using the whole Valentine story and experience in that week to express affection. It comes in the northern regions at the cold time of the year, so we all can use a little smile, a little fun, a little sunshine, so to speak, in our lives. So I still have nightmares about getting the orders out, and that's not just from the first year in the business. It's my nightmares are operational nightmares, and we got to get the orders out. But I think the fact that it continues to grow so much is a reflection of our need for relationships in our lives, and the way that relationships are served, nurtured, and developed by expressions of appreciation. A thoughtful gesture, a text, a card, an email, a gift, a bouquet of flowers with a handwritten note about what they mean to you. We have the power to change how other people feel. We have the power to make someone feel special. Use that power. Use it not just this whole Valentine holiday, but be more regular about your expression. Doesn't cost you anything, but it will change how you feel, and it'll make someone else feel pretty special too. Well, I'm thrilled that people read the Pulse, feel it. I was at a conference this week, and had so many people come up to me to say, love the Pulse, read it all the time. I especially like this. It makes me feel terrific that we and the team who work on that here together, that it impacts so many people's lives. So if you're a subscriber and a reader, thank you. If you're not, go to 1-800-Flowers.com or celebrations.com and sign up. You might enjoy what you read. And I really appreciate and really love the fact that it's become, the Celebrations Pulse has become an interactive medium, in that so many people are writing and sharing stories, asking us to write and research about topics that are important to them. it means the world to us, and I'm very thankful for that. And the fact that they oftentimes let me share their stories with the whole community, it's a lot of fun.